Hello, it's Abaddon Sentinel here, and welcome back to my channel. Now, you may have noticed I've not uploaded a video for a little while. Unfortunately, it's just life gets in the way sometimes. Hopefully, I'm back now, going to start uploading regularly again. Got all that kind of stuff out of the way. So, thank you for supporting me in the beginning, if you've been there, and thank you for continuing to watch my videos. Now, today I'm going to be talking about the new contrast paints that Citadel are bringing out. We do have a release date for, I think it's 15th next month, I think. Might be 17th, I'll check, it's in one of the articles I'm going to be showing. So I've got up some of the articles about it from the Warhammer community website, which I'm going to go through. For those of you who might not have seen it yet, the contrast paints essentially are a special kind of paint for, as they're terming it, their new battle ready kind of standard, where you use your specific primer. You use, again, as they've coined it, one thick coat as opposed to Duncan's two thin coats, to apply paint to your miniature, and it actually supposedly applies the colour, shades the model and highlights it at the same time. Now you'll see they do have some professionals in testing it, well have had, and they do actually seem to have given some good responses. So, you know, I am very intrigued by this so far. So I'll show you the first article. Now, the first article is meet the range. So you can see obviously they've put some basic colours up at the top here. It's based over the idea, you've got two parts to it. So you've got these foundations, these sprays, sorry, spray primers, and then you've got your actual contrast paints themselves. Now the primers come two different colours. We've got Grey Seer and Wraithbone. There's a possibility we might see more of these in the future, I don't know. But generally your Grey Seer is supposed to give your colours more cold tones to the highlights and things like that, and the Wraithbone gives them a bit of a warmer feel. So it'll be interesting to have an experiment with those. And you can see they have created the base paints for them as well, just in case, you know, you don't get the smooth coverage with the primer. It can be difficult to prime certain models. I'm sure we've all experienced that. But yeah, they've created those so you can make sure that your model's got a smooth coat over it before you start. If you make any mistakes, you can use these to cover those up, start again. I imagine they'll be coming quite useful, especially if you're going to be applying in thick coats. So, as you can see here, it says at launch we're going to have 34 different contrast paints to choose from. So that is quite the range. And obviously there's nothing to say you can't mix these together either. One thing they have mentioned is you do not want to thin these with water, because there's a lot of work gone into the development of these to do with the actual viscosity of the paint. So if you wanted to dilute it down, they are bringing out a special contrast medium. I can't remember where it is, it might be further down this article what that one's called, but it's a special medium if you wanted to thin the colour down and make it a bit more translucent, because if you add water to it, it messes with like the surface tension of the paint, it messes with the viscosity, and it won't work anywhere near as well as it's supposed to. So it's just, that's something that obviously you need to be aware of if you're going to give these a try. They've got some examples here, obviously. You can see some skin tones they're showing. I've got a Plague Bearer on the left here, Warrior there, and Orc there. You know, by no means are those like amazing paint jobs. They're not supposed to be. That's the whole point of this battle ready standards that they've come up with. It's just, with the contrast paints, it's supposed to be able to get a decent looking painted model onto the table. Now they do say that, you know, more experienced painters, professional painters, things like that, might actually be able to use these once they've experimented a bit. You might be able to get some really cool effects from them and use them for far more than this. But as things stand, you know, this is the main use for them. So we've got as well, I'm not going to read out everything. If you want to, obviously you can see the articles on the Warhammer community website. But one thing, I did wonder how they were going to handle metals, and it looks like they're doing it based on a non-metallic metal, if you know that term. Basically, a non-metallic metal is, instead of using a paint that actually has the metallic flakes in it that actually shines, you create the effect of the shine with using your highlighting and things like that. There's some very good examples out there, and I'll probably cover some of that in another video. It is a technique that I'm wanting to learn and perfect. But yeah, so you can see on this Necron that it's got that kind of non-metallic metal to it. It's not brilliant, again. You do far better if you're actually, you know, wet blending or something, you're highlighting it yourself, using a lot more diverse tones in the grey. But, you know, for the battle ready standard that they're going for, seems fair enough. You know, it's perfectly good enough to put on the table, is that, and play with. So there it is. It's just called contrast medium. Yeah, I couldn't remember what it was called, but it's just called contrast medium. That's what you want if you're going to be using it for like tints and glazes and things. If you're wanting to thin it down a little bit, you have to use the contrast medium, because that keeps the viscosity and the correct surface tension on the paint for it to still work as its contrast paint. The bottom of this article does have a couple of examples where they've used stuff over the top. Well, I can't remember, is it mixed in? Applied over. Yeah, over Leadbelcher or Retributor armour gives you some quite crazy effects. I do really like this red on here, how shiny that is. I'm not quite as keen on the blue. It does look nice, but I do prefer my reds and blacks, as you might have already seen. But yeah, to go along with this, as I keep mentioning this battle ready standard, they did also put an article up talking about battle ready. So you can see, again, I'm not going to go through the full article, but you can see what is battle ready. So it shows you your traditional technique up at the top and the new version with the contrast. So you can still do your standard base coat shade, put a technical on it, that kind of thing. Whereas this one at the bottom, you just put your contrast paint on and your technical paint on your base, done. And that's battle ready. And I quite like the idea of this, simply because it gives people more of a standardised idea of, you know, if you're going to be coming to a tournament and they're requiring like a painted army, you know, this is what you have to go for. I know there's a lot of places where it's required that you have at least 3 different colours on, but you know, that can mean a lot of different things. Something like this shows you a bit better what it means. You can get that much nicer paint job with relatively little effort, and it's not going to win you any awards. It's not going to win you a Slayer sword. It's not going to get you the Golden Demon. You're not going to win their new global competition, the Everchosen. But I mean, you can see the difference there between the two. And I actually prefer, in this particular instance, the contrast battle ready. Something about it I just quite like. The blues just seem very flat on the classic method version of battle ready. But you know, they could be a particularly good example that they've picked for this picture. You know, we've got to wait and see how other people fare with the paints, rather than Games Workshop obviously advertising them. And yeah, we've got a couple more pictures here. You can see Sigmarine there. But yeah, they explain who they think battle ready's for. It's for people trying to get armies out and all that kind of stuff. See an example of a load of colours there. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm gonna kind of skip through this next article. They've got a video in here. It's worth a watch to see what the professionals say about it. You know, the award-winning painters and stuff. They do give you some good insights into what they think about the paint. And there's a second video as well, actually, that they've done with even more comments in it. But needless to say, the professionals do like it, so that adds to my intrigue towards it. But yeah, so coming soon. We've got the release date. Yeah, it's 15th of June. You can pre-order it, obviously, 8th of June. I do plan on getting some in, making a video of me having a go with them, experimenting. Show you guys, you know, how I managed to work with them, what I think of it after I've had chance. because Games Workshop's advertising a product, so these articles are obviously trying to sell it. It might not end up being as good as what they're making out. You know, some of the professionals might have had some negative things to say that they've not included in the videos. You know, you don't really know exactly. They've got a job to do, and they're going to do it, you know. So once I've got those, I'll hopefully make a video to show you guys how effective they actually are. I'll experiment with how thick you need to put it on. I'll experiment with a couple of different colours, different models hopefully. I don't have a lot of spare money, so it might be I can't do too much with it without destroying models that I actually need, but hopefully I'll still be able to give you enough of a look at how it works. So moving on from that, one more thing I'm going to cover in this is something that they've also come out with, still to do with the painting side of things. They've come up now with the Citadel Colour website. So if we go into that, they now have a full website dedicated to their paints, with videos teaching you about the different paint types, how to use them, techniques using them. You know, you can see there's the different tabs here. So if we go on Painting Basics, for example, I had a quick look at this earlier. You know, when they say basics, they do mean the basics. You know, we've even got, similar to one of the videos I've already done, we've got a choosing your colours video. You know, all that kind of stuff. It's the same kind of stuff that I'll probably explain to you what I do with it as well. You know, just because this is what they're showing you, like your painting area and things like that, don't mean you have to do it this way. So, you know, I'll show you my way of doing things as well. And it's all about finding your own comfortable zone, essentially. If we go back up here and look at the paint types, as you can see, obviously straight up at the top, contrast paints, that's what they're pushing at the moment. They want everyone to be excited about those, but it goes through, and I think this is going to be quite a useful resource for anyone who's, you know, just starting out with the Citadel paints. They cover a lot on here. I mean, the Warhammer TV website YouTube channel, sorry, has had a lot on it for a long time anyway. But obviously they're kind of bringing away from YouTube, and they're creating a full-on interactive website where you can go into the different sections, get all your explanations, your examples, and you know, get a lot more in depth than what they've done on Warhammer TV before. I don't know what that means for Warhammer TV itself, because if they're wanting to put most of their painting on here, I don't know whether that means they'll still be uploading the painting videos to Warhammer TV, and they might do, but they could also try and focus to try and get people on this website. Warhammer TV could be used solely for announcements now. You know, I don't know. I'll keep an eye on that and see what happens with there. But yeah, I think it's going to be a decent website. You know, again, these aren't the kinds of things that are going to show you how to win awards. You're not going to be looking at here and, you know, a month later you're winning a golden demon. But there's going to be a lot of useful information on here to get you into the hobby, get you, you know, up to speed with basic techniques, knowing the limitations of the different paints, you know, the different types of paint, because there's certain things you'll find a lot easier to do with, you know, a base paint than you would with a dry paint. For example, they're complete opposite ends of the spectrum. You can still dry brush with a base paint. It's a lot easier to dry brush with a paint specifically designed for it, though, like a dry paint. Much like it's a lot easier to create blends and things with a layer paint than it is with a base paint. It doesn't mean that it's impossible with either of those, but, you know, it's good to learn the differences, learn the limitations of them. And the main thing to do as well is experiment. Look at the website, by all means. Get some ideas from it, take it away, go and experiment, even on just random bits of plastic that you've got. Just try out different techniques. It doesn't have to be on a model. But yeah, so that's gonna be a good resource, I think. Give it a look. You can see the web address for that up at the top of the video currently. I've kept that just in frame on throughout the video so that you can see the actual web address for things. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Come back to full screen now. Yeah, so I think these contrast paints are going to be quite interesting. Once I've experimented with them, I'll know a bit more about their limitations. I'm hoping to experiment, trying doing some blending with them, maybe actually seeing what happens if you do put water in them. I know obviously Games Workshop say don't do that because that ruins them, but I want to know exactly how it ruins them, what that does to it, whether or not there might be some nice effects you can get with doing that. So I think that's something that's well worth giving a go, and I'll try and do that on video so I can show you. For an update with my Abaddon paint model, that is coming along slowly. Like I say, life's been pretty busy and things have got in the way, but it is coming along, and I shall hopefully have that for you in the not too distant future. I am also working on a different painting video. I won't go into too much detail just yet. It's something a little bit different to what I would normally be doing. There is a special reason for that, but I'll explain that in the video. Hopefully you guys will bear with me as I try and get all this stuff done. And if you're still enjoying my content, remember to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. And I will be seeing you again soon.